the talk has centered around Philly wide receiver A.J. Brown. Some of it anyway. And if you're not familiar with what's been going on here over the last 24 hours or so, perhaps not. Let's go back to last weekend, the divisional round of the playoffs, when the TV cameras caught A.J. Brown, star receiver for Philadelphia, showing that he was exasperated in the fourth quarter. The Eagles had that blowout win over the G-Men. And in that game, A.J. Brown only had 3 catches for 22 yards. He was targeted 6 times. Keep in mind that the Birds only ran the ball almost every other play, and they didn't throw the ball much at all. They ran the ball 44 times. They threw the ball 24. So, based on the numbers, A.J. Brown received 25% of the targets that were available in that game. 1 in every 4 pass attempts went the direction of A.J. Brown, but when you only throw the ball 24 times because the Giants can't stop the run, then you end up in that bit of a situation where you're not getting the ball enough, but you're like, well, wait a minute, I got it 25% of the time, but it's not enough. So A.J. Brown then was asked about all this. He told reporters that there was a difference between being a diva, which is what some are calling him now, and simply having a hunger, a passion for targets and receptions. Now, I am not A.J. Brown, but I will pretend to be A.J. Brown. He said, quote, "I'm never the receiver to go on the sideline or try to cause problems on the sideline. I'm not that guy. I think that's what you could describe as a diva, but I'm not that person." Brown grumbled. A.J. went on to say, "I'm a guy who goes up and talks to the quarterback and talks to the offensive coordinator and do it that way. I'm not a guy that's going to cause commotion on the sideline. That's not who I am. I'll never be that guy." Close quote. All right, so let's discuss the question. Let's get right down to it. That's why we have a sports radio show in the middle of the night. The question: Eagles receiver A.J. Brown, diva or not a diva? And the scale is leaning towards diva. Diva. I've got Bruce Willis, Booby Trap, and Stagecoach. And we will lock all of these random things together, and we are going to make a delicious steak sandwich, the cheesesteak sandwich. That's what we're going to make. Man, most perfect sandwich out there, the cheesesteak sandwich. So, number 1. Number 1. We like A.J. Brown. He's a good player. We'll get that out of the way. We'll get all the niceties out of the way. He absolutely, though, falls into the prima donna receiver category. He's on the spectrum when it comes to the prima donna receivers. Now, there are full-blown prima donnas. And then there are those that dabble in the diva tendencies. But if you look like a diva, you sound like a diva, and you act like a diva, guess what? You're a diva! It's not what you say, per se. It's what you do. Actions speak louder than words. We learned that when we were little kids. When you go to the bookstore, and you don't even have to buy the book, okay? But when you go to the bookstore and you open up the book and you read a few chapters, Diva Wide Receivers for Dummies, A.J. Brown checks a lot of boxes. He forced his way off a team that was a perennial playoff team in the Tennessee Titans while he had a contract because he demanded more money. He said, "I need my money. I need it right now." And now he's complaining on a team in the postseason. He was complaining, caught on camera, complaining about not getting the ball enough. And when he says, hey, I think that's what you could describe as a diva, when he talks about going on the sidelines as a receiver and causing problems on the sidelines, he says, but I'm not that person. That's the money quote. There's a famous line. There used to be a show on TV called Moonlighting back in the day. Bruce Willis, the former Hollywood star there, who had a line in that show, his character did, that everything a person says before the word but is a lie, right? So I'm sensing a lie from A.J. Brown. Right? I'm sensing a lie. That's just the way it is. Now, page number 2. In terms of the game itself, and I'm going to get into Hard-O Sports Radio, little X's and O's for you. Can the Eagles beat the Niners without A.J. Brown putting up eye-popping statistics? So the answer is actually yes, but the degree of difficulty goes way, 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 way up. That's the problem, right? You can always win a game because of the other team's ineptitude, right? Brock Purdy comes out and the glass slipper cracks and he throws 3 interceptions. Then it doesn't really matter what A.J. Brown does if all those interceptions happen to be deep in Niner territory, and then the Eagles get short fields, so you can figure that out. But the concern for the Birds going in, right? And they mentioned the degree of difficulty is higher. This game has all the makings of a booby trap situation. The overconfidence that Philly has from beating up on tomato cans last week, the junior varsity, the Giants, who were a smoke and mirrors team, they ran over them like if a soda can comes out on the interstate and you're driving one of those big 18-wheelers, well, the cans, it's got no chance. The Giants' defense, they are the same consistency. They offer the same level of resistance as Jell-O in a microwave. They provide no resistance at all, and the numbers bear that out. The Giants had the 25th ranked overall defense in the NFL, and now Philadelphia goes from playing the junior varsity to the varsity. The 49ers second in total defense, but the numbers, that number is not the most important number. The biggest number, the meat and potatoes of the Philadelphia Eagles is what? You know what? That's right, running the ball. And that is the strength. It plays right into the strength of the 49ers defense. The Giants were ranked 28th in the NFL, a 32-team league at stopping the run. The Niners are number two in the entire NFL at containing opposing running backs. Only the Tennessee Titans were better during the regular season. Now that is what's known as the mother of all stats. That tells you what has happened. Doesn't guarantee it's going to happen in this game, but you like to look at that stat and say, well, that there's pretty well for the 49ers and not so good for the Eagles. The Eagles' key ingredient, the thing that keeps the engine running, if that is taken away, well, now all of a sudden you have to depend on what was your kryptonite. If you're the Eagles, the passing game, right? If that holds up, the Eagles are going to have to win on the arm of Jalen Hurts throwing the ball around. And so therefore, at that point, that means A.J. Brown will have to put up or shut up. But that's not normally how the Eagles have played. I know there are exceptions to the rule, but the exception does not make the rule. And that provides compelling drama to get us to watch the game like we were going to not watch the game anyway. Of course we're going to watch the game. What else are we going to do on a weekend? Come on. All right, final point. So the 49ers, I want to go over to the 49ers. Their wide receiver, Diva Samuel, who was a non-factor in the last game. The stars did not align for Diva Samuel. He is injured, dinged up. Debo raised some eyebrows with comments he made about the Philadelphia crowd. What did he say? All right, so maybe you missed this one. It has echoed around a bit. But Debo said for him and for the Niners, their money quote, he talked about playing on the road. He was asked about playing on the road in the NFC title game. And Debo Samuel said, quote, "We know it's going to be loud in Philly, but no stadium is as loud as ours at the end of the day." All right, apparently not at the start of the day, but at the end of the day. All right, so question, will the Eagle fans help push the hometown team into the win column? Will they help decide the outcome of the NFC title game? So I am shaking my head no. This is an age-old conversation that comes up, home field advantage. And I'm not a believer in home field advantage. About 90% of the time, I think it is bullpucky, as our friend Jay Scoop likes to say. Home field advantage in and of itself is not much of an advantage these days. And if you're one of the people that are selling that, it is a big advantage. That is an antiquated take. You're dating yourself, is what you're doing. Teams win on the road all the time in the modern era. The gap, which was at one point the size of the Grand Canyon home and road has now been closed. And in the NFL, I'm going to make my elevator pitch to why the home field advantage thing only works in one scenario and not in the scenario that's going to play out in the Eagle 49er game. So I'll make my elevator pitch. The NFL does not, to my knowledge, and I may be wrong on this, I just do an overnight show, but I do not believe they travel by stagecoach anymore. So there's no concern about players picking up the Spanish flu when they're traveling across the country. You are not dealing with the annoyances, the discomfort, the hardships of travel. It's smooth sailing. They fly first class. They get to the airport. There's chartered luxury buses waiting for them. They are then taken to a 5-star hotel in a beautiful part of whatever city they're staying in. It's all laid out. They get there. The keys are waiting for them on a table in the lobby at the hotel. You're really roughing it on the road. Oh, my God, it's so difficult. Now, the point is, it's not like the old days when you were on standby at Gate 3 and you were taking a school bus, an old school bus that was rented out to the stadium. It's not like that. Now, the crowd noise, it's going to be loud in Philadelphia. People will be going crazy, but that's not going to sway the outcome. What do they be? Maybe 1 or 2 jump offside penalties, premature snap penalties. The only thing that does matter when it comes, and I've analyzed this, I've broken it down for years. The only thing that does matter in home field advantage is the weather conditions. If you have a dome team, a warm weather team, and they are playing in a blizzard, now we got something. But it is the same for both teams. But that is not a factor this weekend. The temperatures that kick off at the Link on Sunday in the low 50s. So mild conditions and cloudy in Philadelphia. Therefore, it's not like the Niners are going to be freezing their behinds off. It's not going to be the frozen tundra of Philadelphia. The loud Eagle fans are not going to swing the outcome of the game. Now, that said, the 49ers' Santa Clara compound has not been known as a madhouse for fan noise. So in that regard, Debo full of baloney, but he is on the field, by the way. The Niners' Kyle Shanahan had said that Debo Samuel, the coach had said that his star player would not practice because of the ankle injury, but he was a partial participant on the 49ers practice report. So he was on the field. He was limited, and he should play. He got paid. He'll play. Will he be a decoy, or will he actually be a factor? Only the football gods know, and we will find out this coming weekend.